Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
Where'd I go? Welcome into this, there we go. Welcome into this Wednesday morning. My camera's playing tricks on me, and I have been tangled up in my darn headphone wires. What a start to this show. Hold on here. 9:05. All right. I'm here now. That's all that matters. Welcome into this daily show on this Wednesday morning. It is the 15th day of January. And man, oh man, my friends, it is about as cold as they come out there. Last night had to have been as cold as I've ever felt. And then this morning, we'll see temperatures start to rise up just a little bit today. And then hopefully by Thursday, we'll see 40 degrees. And Friday, the 50s come. And hopefully some of that snow melts before the rain and more snow comes down the pipeline. We got a great show today, but we're going to dive right into top of the hour news. And man, it feels good to be back here live at 9. Instead of 11 a.m. All right, we'll take you right in. Make sure you sign up for your daily dose of everything local. 70,000 plus people are a part of this email blast where you get your daily dose of local news, sports, and events, classified listings, everything you need to jumpstart your day. Plus, with our partnership with the Associated Press, national and statewide news, that's all at the touch of a button. We'll take you to Madison County first. State's Attorney Tom Hain from Madison County announced that multiple charges have been filed against Delvarian D. Harris, 30 years of age, in connection with the shooting that injured 12 people at a Venice club. The incident occurred on November the 24th when Harris allegedly discharged a firearm, striking the victims, all of whom survived, though some required hospitalization. He faces 12 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm and 1 count of possession of a weapon by a felon. Harris currently held in jail with a petition filed to deny his pretrial release as he poses a threat to the community. Also in the news today, a mudslide occurred at Riverview Park on January the 13th, and it led to city officials to evaluate the damage and consider stabilization measures. While the nearby Abbott facility was unharmed, significant debris and old trees were lost. Public Works Director Mike Parsons noted the park's closure in affected areas as cleanup crews mobilize. The mudslide caused by recent weather conditions has created a no trespassing zone for safety. Although this event is less severe than a major incident that did occur in 2020 in January, city officials are closely monitoring the situation for potential repairs and further instability due to the freeze-thaw cycles that will be occurring in the next few months. Also in the news today, during a recent work session, the Edwardsville Community Unit School District Number 7 Board of Education explored the Vision 2030 initiative, which outlines 3 key priorities for education in Illinois: future-focused learning, shared accountability, and predictable funding. Superintendent Dr. Shelton discussed these priorities, emphasizing the importance of reshaping education to better prepare students, for post-high school success. The board will vote on a resolution supporting Vision 2030 at their January 27th meeting to convey educators' needs to state legislators, similar to the impact of Vision 2020. Board members expressed both support and concern regarding the initiative's focus. We'll have more details for you in that write-up on RiverBender.com. You can find it RiverBender.com/news. In a heated confrontation during the confirmation hearing of Pete Hegseth, U.S. Senator from Illinois Tammy Duckworth criticized Pete Hegseth, the expected Secretary of Defense, for his lack of experience and qualifications. Duckworth, a combat veteran and member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, emphasized the importance of adhering to the soldier's creed. Duckworth argued that confirming someone without the necessary qualifications would be an insult to dedicated service members who sacrifice for their nation, and that was a part of our Associated Press write-up, as many of you weighed in on RiverBender.com. On January the 8th, the Madison County Sheriff's Office participated in its 4th annual Impact Life National Blue Blood Drive to help address regional blood shortages. Organized by Impact Life, a nonprofit community blood center, the event supports states including Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Iowa. January is National Blood Donor Month, a time to honor and encourage voluntary blood donations. A spokesperson for Impact Life emphasized the critical need for donations, as less than 10% of the population participates. The initiative, it aims to raise awareness and boost participation in blood donation efforts within the community. And finally, in the news today, Edwardsville Community Unit School District Number 7 Superintendent Dr. Patrick Shelton has recommended Alex Fox for the permanent role of principal at Edwardsville High School. The recommendation will be presented to the Board of Education on January the 27th. Fox's appointment will take effect in the 2025-2026 school year with a 2-year contract. Fox has been serving as interim principal since August 9th, following Dr. Steve Stewart's departure. Shelton praised Fox's leadership, noting his strong rapport with students and staff, and Fox expressed honor in potentially leading the school, emphasizing a commitment to fostering a supportive environment for all. And that's a look at what's happening around the Riverbend at 9:10. We'll take a look at weather. It's 6 degrees here in downtown Alton, and boy, my boy, it is as cold as it can get out there. 6 degrees, and, well, the good news is it feels like 13. How about that? Hey, today mostly sunny and very cold tonight. It will have an increase in temperature this evening. Otherwise, it will just be clear, so we will see temperatures start to rise as the day goes on. However, during this morning, please be mindful that extreme cold can be dangerous for outdoor activities. So if you can, wait a little bit until the temperature rises, then start to make your journey outside. The good news is temperatures should reach 27 degrees today, and the low temperature, 19. So we're in business. Then coming up on Thursday, a high of 36, a low of 25. And on Friday, almost 50, a high of 47, a low of 29 degrees. More chance for that snow to melt. I'm tired of shoveling. On Saturday, a high of 34, a low of 13 degrees, and on Sunday, more cold comes into our region, a high of only 18 degrees, but on Sunday night, the temperatures will drop down to single digits, just above zero. It will be 1 degree for the low on Sunday. That's a look at the next 5 days. Here's what's happening now, my friends, at 9:12. It's 6 degrees. It feels like 13, or as I call it, brutal. For time and temperature throughout the day, 618-465-4545. This time powered by Tom Lane. He's your local State Farm agent. Also, you can text RB to 618-202-4618. That's RB to 618-202-4618 to sign up for instant weather updates. You can sign up now by going to RiverBender.com and clicking on that Sign Up Now button as well. Before we take a quick break, let me tell you about my friends at Hainer Library. You know they're the best. Mary Cordes joins us on the first and last Monday of every month, and every time she joins us, I always learn something new, and I find that fascinating. And I don't say that kind of like as a live read, because I don't have scripts for live reads. I just I just tell you how I feel about these businesses because they're that good. You know, whenever we talk about sponsors for our daily show, I always have made it a big point to not just find anybody that wants to sponsor, but really find great partners for the community, for the region, and for all of you when you pick up the phone and call. And Hainer Library is no different. You know, they are the perfect partner for the entire Metro East. No matter if you live in Alton, Godfrey, or you're outside of the Hainer Library district and you're in East Alton or Wood River, stop on in. We encourage you to Hainer Library. You know, they have so many cool things, though, and with that Hainer Library card, it's really cool. You can unlock that library of things where, you know, especially right now, what are you going to do outside with the kids? They're going to be cooped up for the next couple of days. Well, you have a few days of reprieve with the warm weather, but it's going to come back to single-digit stuff. Find some really cool games that you can rent from the library of things or the movie projector. Make it a movie night. They have one there, and you can get it for free. You bring it back, and it just kind of makes it that really unique experience that child in your life is going to remember forever, or maybe yourself is going to remember forever too, creating those family memories. And it doesn't stop there. You know, coming up, weather will start to warm up here in a couple of months. I know there is hope out there. Utilize their seed library. Why are you buying all these seeds? You can go to Hainer Library, get some native plant seeds, and use them for your own gardens. It's really a great program. I highly encourage you to go to HainerLibrary.org, find out more about it today. And once you go in the first time, you won't stop going back. Once you go in, don't forget to tell them that CJ sent you over their way, because at Hainer, it's a door. And I just want to offer you that door to adventure, knowing, fun, and learning with our friends at Hainer Library. 9:14, we'll come back with more Daily Show. But first, let's take a look at Washington. Let's see how our nation's capital is looking.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1,000,000. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
I'm playing only songs that have to deal with heat today. I feel like
I don't blame you.
Dean, Craig, how's life treating you on this 6-degree Wednesday?
Staying warm. I got here, so that's a success.
A lot
right
of
there.
ice out there, but we trudged on through and made it through just fine.
Well, honest, I was, because you get bored at home, and I was doing some research, and I don't know if the ice is good, but the more snow the longer it sits there, right? It soaks into the ground, and hopefully we get some nice looking leaves this fall. That's what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I read something wrong. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. It gave me hope because the leaves this past fall were kind of,
kind of ho-hum.
Yeah.
So
We're kind of coming out of a dry period anyway. The last 3 years or so, we haven't had a lot of rain, so all this snow will benefit us in the spring.
I'm ready
and
for
the
that.
cold, it makes it suppresses that mosquito population, so that's another benefit.
Right.
Look at you guys.
We haven't had a really deep freeze like this for a while. It seems like so, and a lot of snow. So
you guys are giving me hope here. I like the positivity here.
Success.
Well, Dean, you rightfully so, said his ears were ringing because Mary joins us for Hainer Libraries Beyond the Shelf segment, and coming up this weekend, you will be at Hainer Library giving a presentation.
I will. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock at the Genealogy and History Library. I've been interested in river towns a long time. I've been writing about river towns for 15 or 20 years and visiting. I've been lucky enough to visit a lot of places along the Mississippi. So I'm really invested in their fortunes, and this talk really gives me a chance to go a little deeper into some of my observations about river towns, what I've seen for communities that are doing well, communities that are struggling. And on top of that, I have a brother who's an urban planner and architect, so I kind of feel like that makes me by default an urban planner and architect. And makes me an expert by default. So we talk a lot about towns and what makes towns work and what problems towns get into. So I put together this whole talk to offer some of my observations about our river communities, what things we're doing right, what our assets are, where we're really struggling, and maybe offer a few ideas on what we can start doing to bend the curve.
Well, and honestly, it's one of those conversations that people really, I think, are going to find so fascinating, because when you look at it just at a, blanket statement, just seeing the event, it's like, well, that's unique, but when you really dive into it, you find out just how incredible some of these river towns really are and the potential they have, especially now. Mary and I were talking, because I don't know if you watched the segment, but that bi-state development a freightway is just incredible. I mean, there's hundreds of millions of dollars of money on these rivers, and how do the towns shape themselves, and also how do they do it in the past too, which I think is so cool.
Right, absolutely. And I think part of what I hope people will do is think beyond just what we move on rivers as a river asset. For a lot of communities, the river transportation doesn't benefit them directly. A barge passing by your community doesn't provide economic benefit. So if you're a smaller town,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Whatever, what are the assets that you really have? What do you have to build with that your community can work with?
See, this is what I find fascinating, though, because just for me, just for my little spiel there, that's where a lot of us think, oh, man, this is really unique. But you're right. How do you bring the economy to you when it's passing you by?
Right.
That is going to be really how long does it last?
7 or 8 hours, I think. No.
Oh, Jesus! I was like, man, are you gonna bring him lunch too?
Yeah. I think they're only giving me 45 minutes, so I've got to have all the answers in a short period of time.
And now, are you taking questions?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Really cool. They have a nice. I really do like Hainer's event space. Are you going to be over at Alton Square Mall doing this, or down at?
I think I'm at the History and Genealogy Library.
Oh, that's
downtown,
even better, man.
So,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man, really cool.
That's
By the
where
way,
I'm showing up, so that better be it. So.
Yes. Well, if you're planning on going, just go ahead and go to Genealogy, because you heard it here first. That's where Dean's going. Also, the big thing is, really, before we talk about anything else, is this water trail system, Craig. And, the Mississippi Water Trail is really just a wonderful and such a unique and also such an important, geographic space. And fill me in on this. Fill me on the Mississippi Water Trail and just some of the things you guys do to kind of recognize the spaces we're in.
Yeah, the Mississippi River Water Trail has been around for about 12 years. We're a nonprofit, and we team with the Corps of Engineers, and we have a 121-mile trail that we take care of on the Mississippi River from Saverton, Missouri, down to the Arch. And we have primitive campsites and where all the access points are. If you go on our website, there's a interactive, dynamic map there where you can see, where can I get food, where can I get water, anything that a downriver paddler would need on the river. You can go to our website, pull up our map, and kind of figure out what's out there and where to camp.
It's just incredible. It really is. And take me through, have you been with the organization since its inception?
No, I haven't. I think I've been like 8 years, something like that.
Well, fill me in on those 8 years of just what you've been able to accomplish and what the trail's been able to do.
Yeah, we've grown quite a bit with our. We do a lot more than just maintain the trail. We have a lot of events throughout the year. So we have a race that we do every year on the Mississippi River, which is a lot of fun. We get a lot of participation in that. We have other events where we invite the public out. We have training where we get folks to come in and sign up to learn how to paddle on the Mississippi River. Paddling on a big river is totally different than jumping on the Merrimack or something like that.
Right.
So there's with the gear and the rescue techniques that we teach you and everything, we really teach you and get you ready to paddle on the Mississippi River, and so we provide that training. So yeah, it's really grown with the amount of events and other activities that we're doing.
Well, if it's okay, I wanted to show the website too, because this is really such a unique map. If you haven't seen it yet, guys, we're going to go on the scene. Yeah, I can do this. All right. On the fly here, on the fly training for CJ. I'm learning here as we go. But this is part of your guys' work, correct?
Yep, yeah. It is, and that's you can find our campsites and find places and see when you click on something like you just did, it tells you what's going on with that specific site and everything.
So that's the Moiser landing site?
Yep.
Moser Landing. Yeah.
So it's a place like if you're trying to get on the river somewhere, an access point, then you can find those public boat ramps on there.
This is incredible.
Or
Look
maybe
at
you're
this.
paddling down the river and you need to meet someone to drop off some food, some water, whatever you need to keep you going on the river. You can tell them, hey, meet me at this particular boat ramp, and the map will help you do that. But you can go to those campsites too.
Lock viewing platform. Where's that at, Craig?
That black one there. Is that a campsite maybe?
Pelican's Point. Primitive camping permitted.
Yeah. So there's a camping spot right there at Pelican Point.
Look at all of this.
On a lot of the campsites are on islands out in the river.
Look at this though. I mean, we aren't even getting near Jerseyville yet, and there's just so many landmarks though that that's got to be so beneficial for anybody that travels or even travels, but even just recreates in that area. It really gets them the most out of that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like the Appalachian Trail on the water.
That's a good way to put it.
That's what we everybody's looking for the next place to camp when they're coming down the river, and we give you a fire ring and try to keep the vegetation cut down as much as we can get out there and do it.
This is so cool. We didn't go through your website last time you guys were on. This was really cool. We'll have to link that again. We'll have to go through some more because I like playing with that. I like maps. I'm a big map guy.
I love maps too. There's a section on the website too that offers some ideas for different places that you can paddle. So a half-day trip. If you're looking for an easy paddle, there's a whole section of the website that'll give you more detail or some ideas on places where you could do.
Like right here. I got this. Look at this.
There you go.
Look at this. See if I can navigate it, anybody can. Look at that though. So whatever advanced, but you can click on any
go to intermediate, and maybe you want to go out and paddle a little bit. Again, I would recommend a little bit of training getting on the Mississippi, but once you do that, we've got all kinds of options here that you can different sections of the river that we find beautiful place to go and easy to get to.
That's just really cool. I've never navigated your website before. That's a wonderful resource, man. That's how much work goes into really going through and not only updating that data, because that's a lot of technical work, but also just going through and cleaning up spaces because, Mother Nature doesn't stop for you.
I know. We try to get out at least once a year to do a significant section, a pool, we call it, of our water trail, and we get out and clean up the sites. And then sometimes we will get out there and determine that the site that we've selected for camping is not good enough anymore because of the changes, as you mentioned, with the river flooding and that kind of thing, and we'll pick a different site. So these sites can move from time to time, and we kind of team with the Corps of Engineers to get out there and check all those out. But so over the course of a few years, we'll eventually get to all the sites and, trying to hit one section of it every year. So
this is cool. I mean, this is really cool. Man, and you, this is just wonderful. I got to talk to you more about just the water trail and some of the other stuff you've done after the break. But the big point is, too, coming up on January the 25th, this is one of your bigger events. There's two, the Firecracker Race, which I am drone footaging this year. We have got to do this. I am not going to forget.
We're going to see you racing this year.
Oh, my goodness. I would be, what's that guy on Wahoo Racers that always spins, or Wacky Racers that always spins around backwards? That'd be me.
We'll get you a boat.
Yeah, and I'd still lose. But coming up on January the 25th, Mississippi Meanderings. This is a wonderful event. Music on the Mississippi River is the theme of this year's, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And take me through this. So it's 12 to 4 in total, correct?
Ish.
Really cool.
So registration opens at noon, and we'll start the presentations around 1. We do this every year. I was thinking, Craig, one of these days we ought to go back through our past meanderings and figure out how many times we've done this, because it's been quite a few years.
It's been a long...
But it's our annual winter gathering for folks who are interested in paddling in the river to get together, maybe break some of that cabin fever, and come out and hang out with other folks who are interested in the outdoors and the river. And this year we're doing something a little different, and we're kind of going deep into the idea of music as it has been influenced by the Mississippi. There's a great history of musical development of artists and great music coming out of the places along the Mississippi. We probably tend to think more further south in the Delta and Mississippi and those places. We have fantastic musical traditions in this area, like Miles Davis with his roots here in Alton. But for this one, we're gonna do two main things. We have a guy coming in, Kevin Belford, who maybe 10 years ago wrote a book called Devil at the Confluence. That's the history of pre-war blues in St. Louis.
Really
and his
cool.
whole premise is really that St. Louis had its own style of blues that developed independently. It didn't come here from somewhere else.
Wow.
So it's a little counter to the story we often hear about how blues develop.
Well, and honestly, that's a really important kind of statement, because where do you ever hear that music wasn't influenced by another, another location or another individual? When it's actually generated within its own incubator, that's pretty rare.
Yeah. So I think we don't hear that story for our regions so much. So Kevin, he's a graphic artist by trade, but he's spent much of his life, researching this old blues history in St. Louis. So he's going to talk. I think I've talked him into bringing some samples of music that he can play. So maybe we'll hear a few clips from
really cool.
Some of those early blues musicians in St. Louis. It's a great story, very fascinating. And then the second part is we're bringing up a guy named Trapper Haskins, whose home base is around Nashville. But he has a great story to tell. Last year, he published a book called Crooked Old River that tells the story of this. He went to Maine to learn how to build boats. And in the process, he came across the design for an old Mississippi River yawl, a rowboat. And he got the idea in his head that he was going to build this rowboat and then take it down the Mississippi, the length of the whole Mississippi. So he did, he got the boat built, and he took this boat down the river, but it actually took him 2 trips with 14 or 15 years in between to actually finish the trip, to get to the end point he wanted to.
Wow.
So he's going to talk about that experience, the inspiration for the boat design, how he built it, and the trip itself. He's also a musician, though.
Oh, that's cool. That's really a good way to tie this in.
Absolutely. So when he's done talking, we'll take a little break, and then he's going to set up, and he's going to do an acoustic set of original songs for us. So
that's awesome. And this is really unique, too. I mean, this whole part of it I like, because it's you really hit the mission, because you have that hour to kind of hang out, kind of meet, mingle, catch up, shake off the cabin fever, talk about what you're working on, and then by 1:30, I mean, you're really having some great conversations and really just some great stories to hear too.
Absolutely.
And how much is it to be a part of this?
It's $15 to attend the event. If you want to become a member of the Mississippi River Water Trail, we charge you another $10, so it's $25, and you get our newsletter and get invites to all of our events. And volunteer, help us out at some of our events and that kind of thing. If you want to become a member.
Well, and honestly, that's what I think so important too, because what you guys do really is important. If there wasn't a group like you guys that go out and do these type of things and keep watching and see how the vegetation's growing on certain islands or what it looks like, it could get really bad. I mean, you could have some severe overgrowth, and then you have some loss of maybe an ecosystem or two that are, on those islands. There's some really important work that goes with maintaining those, just keeping watch of them, just to monitor and see where things are going.
Yeah, while we're very focused on our campsites and maintaining those, the Corps of Engineers kind of plug them a little bit. They have an entire forestry side and conservation side, in addition to the commercial traffic that they have on the river and everything. And they're out there maintaining the environment on land really that they're responsible for, that they take care of, and they watch for invasive species and that kind of thing to eradicate those things on those islands and on the shore.
Well, and that's what I get that, but really what you guys do, though, not to take away from you, just to monitor that, though, and just for your campers and all that. I mean, that's important for their safety and all. I mean, it really is. I don't want you to take away from what you guys do at all, Craig. It's wonderful. I want to sign up. I'm like, you're kind of getting me hooked. This is incredible. So we have this coming up. I want to talk about the firecracker race, but I got to take a quick break, and we'll come back with more here with Craig and Dean. This is just, every time you guys come on, I always have fun talking with you guys. You stay there, we'll stay here. It's 9 degrees. We're warming up out there on RiverBender.com.
Get access to care for anyone, anywhere, at any time. No appointments, no waiting rooms, no traveling. OSF on call.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. Little shot of the river there, tie it all in. Being a producer today, trying. Back with Dean and Craig, just really great to see all the things that really do happen on the river, because when we talk about recreation really and what benefits that could come with it, and really just seeing some of the pictures that you guys take from like the firecracker race, which we'll talk about here in a second, and some of the other gatherings, it's really cool to see folks from all different parts of the area coming together and utilizing the river and one of the best ways to utilize it in.
Yeah, we invite folks to come out and paddle with us. We have sunset paddles where beginners can come out. We'll be posting those on our website. And, we provide the gear if you need us to, or you can bring your own, but kayak if you have it. And we get out there, and we're only out there for an hour and a half or so. We just kind of paddle out, get a good view of the sunset, which is a great time. I think we had about 20 folks out there when we did it once.
Really cool.
This past year, and watch that sunset right on the water and then paddle back. So anybody can come out and paddle with us.
Telling you, I might be making a trip out on the water. That's dangerous. Call the Coast Guard. No, I won't have to, because Dean and Craig are here. That's right.
He's a certified rescuer.
We've talked about the classes. Are you guys doing the classes again this year?
Yeah, we are. We have a beginners class that really anybody can take too on June 7th. You can come out, and heck, we might have 30 people out there.
It's really
like
intensive
we did last
too.
year. We'll have all kinds of instructors there, and we try to get as much information in you as we can, and go through some drills, maybe do some rescues and everything. Probably will do some rescues in that one day in June 7th. But then our more intensive training is the 2-day where you actually get the certification, and we'll do that a couple of times. We usually try to do it early in the year in May or sometimes late April, but May, early June, where folks that really seriously want to learn everything you need to know to paddle on the Mississippi, and we do a 2-day training.
Well, and that's good just to put a bug in your guys' ear, really, for all the opportunities in case you guys have, at home wanted to kind of do this for a while. Now's your time to kind of start planting the seed and taking a look on the MississippiWaterTrail.org website and seeing when they come down the pipeline. They'll be on the website, correct?
Yeah, they will be. I think the basic one, the 1 day is already there. It's June 7th. But the 2-day certification is, I don't think we've decided on those dates yet. So.
Well, and honestly, it's such a great, when we were talking about the last time, my head was blown with all the different ways that you were teaching folks, and all the different instructors that were a part of it too was really unique. And one thing that I love is watching this firecracker race recap, because there's a lot of good photos on this thing. So coming up on August the 9th, canoe, kayak, or
stand-up paddleboard.
Oh, thank you. Fill me in on this. So how long has this been going for now?
I think we've been doing it for about 8 years now or so. I think there was a couple of years during COVID that we didn't do it.
Yeah.
We used to just do it at Riverlands and just have 5 2-mile loops, and so we did a 10-mile race. But now we're doing the last couple of years we're doing a downriver race. It's a lot of fun. We had 65 racers last year, and some of these folks come from pretty far away from surrounding states and everything, and they're pretty serious racers, and they come out with their 22 foot long racing kayak and that kind of thing. It's something to just watch, but But we have had steady growth over the years, and with 65 last year, we're looking for more.
But I mean, that's a lot of participants. See, I'd be intimidated immediately if some guy whips out a 22-foot, kayak. I'd be done. I'd pack it up.
We have different categories for racers.
That's where Dean came in for the save.
There could be the radio host category, and see you can finish first in that one.
Right? That's true. To make it fair, we have a sea kayak class that anything under 18 feet, and then the open class where there's these kind of, I'll call them professional racers, come out and
that's got to be fun to watch.
They're flying down the river.
It's got to be fun to watch them move, though.
Yeah.
So with that being said, 15 miles.
15 miles, yeah, from Grafton to Alton.
I don't know if I'd last, Dean. I don't know if I'd last a mile. I think just finishing the race would be a win for me.
That's good enough.
It'd be a win for me, too. Wait, which way does the river flow?
We start in Grafton and we go downstream.
So good. So I will eventually finish the race. Eventually,
yeah. We'll wait for you.
3 days later, and the sun's coming across the finish line.
There'll always be a safety boater behind you anyway, watching out for you.
Yeah. Oh, I feel bad for that guy. He better bring a lunch. No, this is really cool, guys. Seriously. So the shuttle bus will depart from Alton. We're at Alton.
At the marina down there. So the idea, we want to make it as easy for racers as we can. So, you want to park where you're getting off the river. So you park, get on the shuttle bus, and then you ride on up to the starting point. And then when you're getting off the river, your car's right there waiting for you. So
that's really cool. A mandatory meeting at 9 a.m. that morning.
Yeah, it's safety meeting. So before we start the race, we have a safety briefing with all the racers, and we'll have a Corps of Engineers boat there to help with safety, in addition to a lot of very skilled safety boaters that are kind of following the racers down the river.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just one of those things to make sure we get out. And now, how far in advance do we need to register for this?
I will have registration set up in a couple of weeks. It'll be online, but heck, even the day before.
Okay, cool.
We leave it open all the way up until the race.
That's what I wanted to make sure of, just because I know this is going to be one that folks that are watching this right now that are ready, I mean, they're booking it, but there's others I guarantee are going, man, if I'm around the area on August 9th, I'm in. Just to watch it would be fun. I'm telling you, I am doing the drone this year. I swear I got to call 618 Drone and see if we can do that, and I'll get a wireless mic and I'll commentate the darn thing. This would be fun. But it really just a great thing to talk about too. And honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, go out on the river that day and just watch the kayaks going up and down. That'll be kind of fun, just to go and sit out. I do it while I'm at the boat, because where I have my river time, because I'm sitting there by the smoking deck and I'm going, wow, there goes all of that money that you could have saved and used. You filled every pothole in town, CJ. But it'd make me feel better when I see a kayak going by. There you go. Yeah. Oh, man. But seriously, guys, going back to the 25th, Mississippi Meanderings is another big event, 1 to 5 p.m. Really just going to be great. 12 is when the check-in meet and greet starts. That's going to be 12 to 1. And then wrapping up about 5 p.m. after Trapper Haskins. Haskins. I got it right the first. I got to be more confident.
Go with that.
Performs acoustic, and that'll be really cool. So there's a little bit of everything in Mississippi Meanderings, correct?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it probably would be good for people to buy tickets in advance.
Okay.
We have limited seating in the auditorium, and most years we've been able to accommodate walk-ups, but there's no guarantee that there's actually going to be space available at the last minute.
Yeah, we really want you to pre-register if you.
That makes sense, because this is at the National Great Rivers Museum.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Was it at Old Bakery last year?
We have had it there, but it's been
a couple years. Okay, so I don't know what I did for breakfast yesterday, let alone remembering where an event was.
But maybe you're thinking after the event we go to Old Bakery.
That's what it is. Okay.
So, for dinner at Old Bakery Beer after.
My brain's
more time to hang out.
There you go. My brain's not too foggy, just a little bit. But Dean, really wanted to make sure we give you another plug too for this Saturday, because really just a fascinating conversation. Because if you guys heard me earlier, my perception on this was completely different perspective of what Dean's going to be talking about, and just that facet alone gets me interested to want to learn more about what a river town needs to do to thrive. And fill me in on what you're going to be talking about there.
So the presentation has a few different parts to it, but the first part is I just want to give a little bit of an overview of the history of river towns and what economies have historically driven river towns. So I think it's really informative when you take a look back at all the different ways river towns built their fortunes. Most of them don't exist anymore. So these are communities that have had to adapt and change over time, and we forget that that's just sort of part of the natural life cycle of our communities. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. I'll be highlighting a few river towns that I think are doing especially well and some of the factors that I think are really helping them do well. And then the meat of it is just kind of getting into what are some of the ideas for how to turn things around for communities that need to do things better.
Yeah.
Where we're struggling, what can we do to maybe bend that curve and help bring some of these communities back a little bit. And I hope there's some discussion around that. Like I don't have a silver bullet. There's not some quick, easy answer to this. If there was, I'd be making a lot more money from this than I am.
My silver bullets are in the fridge.
There you go.
But you're right, Dean. It's not to cut you, but to have conversations about it, I think, is just such a great thing to do anyway, just to get the ball rolling a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think there are probably some things that about the way we have been building cities and are developing our communities the last couple generations that have actually hurt more than they've helped. And some of that may surprise folks when they start to think about and look at this from a different perspective.
Right.
Some of the things that we've done in the past couple generations really turned out to be not very smart.
There's a ton of things. And, the one thing I always chuckle about, because I always thought because my grandpa owned Rigdon Sewer Service for a very long time. My uncle owns it now and all that. But he used to talk about the sewers and where the waste used to go before 1964. And it's like, right into the river. And I thought that was a joke. I really did, because my generation wouldn't even fathom that. And and when you learn it, it blows you away, and it's like, what damage did we do?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's just my little point of just that portion of it. But Dean, going further into it, like with your background on it and just kind of that topic, there's a lot to discuss.
There's a lot to discuss. And, some of this stuff I don't think is, it's not exactly rocket science.
Right.
Some of it, we've built cities and communities for thousands of years. And there are some sort of timeless principles. I think we've kind of gotten away from some of those in the past couple generations. So we'll talk about that. But the river is a big part of it. Like, Alton and other river towns, we have the Mississippi as a natural asset that other communities may not have. Like, you get further inland and small farming communities that have lost a lot of population as the demand for agricultural workers has dropped. Those places don't have an asset like the Mississippi to build on.
True.
So we've always got that at our back door.
100%. Well, and honestly, guys, I always love when you stop by. This has bbeen great. I told you 20 minutes, and here we are, 35, 40 minutes. This is fun. And it really just a taste of what's to come. If you stop by and see Dean, you can call the Hainer Library registration number or register online for Dean's presentation, or you can probably just, I don't know what the number, I got to be careful, because when I do that and then I get a phone call from Mary saying we are full, quit telling people just to show up. So I got to be careful. Lacey's coming down here in a couple of minutes, so I'll ask Lacey how it's looking for numbers, and we'll tell
Very
people.
Good.
But with that being said, stop by to see Dean, and also stop by to see both Dean and Craig and all of the Mississippi River Water Trail, Mississippi Meanderings, January the 25th, and then mark your calendars August 9th for the firecracker race. And stay posted to MississippiRiverWaterTrail.org for the upcoming classes and courses that are coming down the pipeline and all the resources that are available to you on the website.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible. Covering auto, home, business, and life insurance, our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was going to make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Open up the window, sucker. Let me catch my breath. Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come. That ain't the way to have fun, son. That ain't the way to have fun.
Oh, get on over here, 9:54. On this date in history, happy Wednesday to all of you. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on this date, January the 15th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the American religious leader and civil rights activist, born on this date, January the 15th, 1929. Also on this date in history, in 1759, established by an act of parliament, the British Museum, which counts among its world-renowned antiques and archaeological holdings the Alton marbles and the Rosetta Stone. It opened to the public on this date in 1759. Also on this date in history, 2009, we remember this date because Sully landed in the Hudson River. The U.S. Airway Flight 1549, piloted by Sully. After the plane flew into a flock of Canadian geese shortly after takeoff, it resulted in severe damage to the plane's engines. There were no fatalities. And also on this date in history, in 2001, Wikipedia, the worst, absolute trash of free internet. Wikipedia is junk. I am so tired. They always, you go on Wikipedia just because you're Googling like for me, I might do some research on a guest that I'm having on that's maybe nationally known. I'll click on it. Half of it's wrong. Anyway, it was founded on this date in history. Don't ever donate to it. Founded by Jimmy Wales, 2001. 1974, the American television. Oh, let me tell you about Wikipedia too. There's times where someone told me they had a test and it was all Wikipedia answer. It was terrible. I mean, it's just an awful, awful platform. It's not, half of it's not real on Wikipedia, and it's not really sourced. So be careful. Find another source for all your information. On this date of 1974, the American television series Happy Days, the nostalgic comedy set during the 1950s and 60s, premiered on ABC on this date in 1974. In 1967, in the first Super Bowl game, the Green Bay Packers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. In 1919, a storage tank collapsed in Boston, sending more than 2 million gallons of molasses flowing through the city's north end. The Great Molasses Flood, as it became known, caused extensive damage and killed 21 people. And also on this date in history, in 1844, the University of Notre Dame was founded in Indiana by the Congregation of the Holy Cross and was officially chartered. All righty, on this date in music, let's get to it.
In 1983, Phil Collins had his first UK #1 single with his version of You Can't Hurry Love, a hit for the Supremes. In 1966, Collins' version of was the first track on the very first Now That's What I Call Music CD. That's a great trivia note. So just so you know, Collins' version was the first track on the very first Now That's What I Call Music CD. Have you seen that guy on Facebook or I guess it's TikTok, but they show up in my Facebook Reels. He makes fun of those, and it's great. Anyway, on this date in 1983, Men at Work started a 4-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Down Under, which went on. I always think of Family Guy. Family Guy has ruined so much of my life, which went on to sell over 2 million copies in the U.S. alone. The song was also a #1 hit in the UK, Denmark, Ireland, Italy, and Switzerland, and was a top 10 in many other countries. On this date in 1977, the Eagles were at #1 on the U.S. album chart with Hotel California, the group's third U.S. #1 album. In 2013 documentary, History of the Eagles, Don Henley said the song was about a journey from internet innocence to experience, and that's all. Well, that's a little vague. On this date in... 1972, Led Zeppelin's Black Dog made its debut on the U.S. singles chart. It was the group's third single, and it peaked at number 15. And on this date in 1967, the Rolling Stones forced to change lyrics of Let's Spend the Night Together to Let's Spend Some Time Together when appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show after the producers objected to the content of the lyrics. Jagger rolled his eyes at the TV camera while singing the changed lyrics, resulting in Ed Sullivan announcing that the Rolling Stones would be banned from performing ever again. And I don't think Ed Sullivan lasted too. How long did Ed Sullivan go for? Was it was it the 60s or early 70s when he was done? Anyway, it doesn't matter. On this date in 1975, The Who released their first single, I Can't Explain, which was written by Pete Townsend when he was 18 years old, with Jimmy Page on rhythm guitar and the Ivy League on backing vocals. Went on to reach #8 on the UK chart, peaked at number 93 on the US chart. David Bowie recorded a version of the song for his 7th studio album. So there you go. That happened on this date in history. And on this date, finally, in music history, there's 2 more for you. The Supremes signed a worldwide record contract with Motown Records, originally founded as the Primettes. They became commercially successful of Motown's acts and to this date are America's most successful vocal group with 12 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, and they were officially signed a contract on this date. And finally, on this date in music, one of my favorite songs. Don McLean started a 4-week run at #1 in the U.S. singles chart. The song recounted the day the music died, the 1959 plane crash that killed Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper, and the aftermath that followed. The song was listed as number 5 songs on the RIAA Project Songs of the Century. And here it is now for you, American Pie, and we'll come back with top of the hour news.
Boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above? If the Bible tells you so.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Dibs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit villagedispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Welcome back to our daily show. The time is 10:04 on this Wednesday morning. We'll take you to top of the hour news now. Charges have been filed against an East St. Louis man in a Venice club shooting that injured 12. Here's what we know. Madison County State's Attorney Tom Hain did announce that multiple charges have been filed against Devarion D. Harris, 30, in connection with the shooting that did injure 12 at that Venice club. The incident occurred on November the 24th when Harris allegedly discharged that firearm, striking the victims, all of whom survived, though some required hospitalization. He faces 12 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm and 1 count of possession of a weapon by a felon. Harris currently held in jail with a petition to deny his pretrial release as he poses a threat to the community. Also in the news today, a mudslide occurred yesterday at Riverview Park, leading to city officials to evaluate the damage and consider stabilization measures. While the nearby Abbott facility was unharmed, significant debris and old trees were lost. Public Works Director Mike Parsons noted the park's closure in affected areas as cleanup crews mobilize. The mudslide caused by recent weather conditions has created a no trespassing zone for safety. Although the event is less severe than the major incident that occurred in January 2020, city officials are closely monitoring the situation for potential repairs and further instability due to freeze-thaw cycles that will occur in the next few months. Also in the news today, during a recent work session, Edwardsville Community Unit School District No. 7 Board of Education explored the Vision 2030 initiative, which outlines 3 key priorities of education in Illinois: future-focused learning, shared accountability, and predictable funding. Superintendent Dr. Shelton discussed these priorities, emphasizing the importance of reshaping education to better prepare students for post-high school success. The board will vote on a resolution supporting Vision 2030 at their January 27th meeting, aiming to convey educators' needs to state legislators, similar to the impact of Vision 2020. Board members expressed both support and their concerns regarding the initiative's focus. A full write-up available on RiverBender.com. Also in the news today,
Madison County Sheriff's Office participated in its fourth annual Impact Life National Blue Blood Drive to help address regional blood shortages. Organized by Impact Life, a nonprofit community blood center, the event supports states includes Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Iowa. January, National Blood Donor Month, a time to honor and encourage voluntary blood donors. A spokesperson from Impact Life emphasized the critical need for donations, as less than 10% of the population participates. The initiative aims to raise awareness and boost participation in blood donation efforts from within the community. And finally, in the news today, at Edwardsville Community Unit School District Number 7 Board, again, Superintendent Dr. Patrick Shelton recommended Alex Fox for the permanent role of principal at Edwardsville High School. The recommendation will be presented to the Board of Education on January the 27th, and if approved, Fox's appointment will take effect for the following school year with a 2-year contract. Fox has been serving as interim principal since August the 9th following the departure of Dr. Steve Stewart. Shelton praised Fox's leadership, noting a strong rapport with students and staff, and Fox himself expressed honor and potentially leading the school, emphasizing a commitment to fostering a supportive environment for all. And that's a look at what's happening around the Riverbend on this Wednesday morning. Let's take a look at weather. We have a difference of opinion here. My lower third says 12 degrees, but my weather desk says 10. We're going to go with 10 degrees. It feels like 18 today, mostly sunny and very cold. And these cold temperatures this morning can be dangerous for outdoor activity. So if you can stay home for the next few hours until about 1 or 2 o'clock, hang in there. And tonight, there will be rising temperatures this evening. Otherwise, it will just be clear. Overall, this is why I am not thriving today. Air quality is getting worse by the minute, up to 60 right now, which is moderate. So be careful out there today. Coming up today, temperatures that reach 27 degrees tonight, and then tonight, temperatures drop down to 19 as we head into Thursday. On Thursday, a high of 36 degrees, a low of 22. And on Friday, a high of 46. A low of 26 degrees. On Saturday, partly sunny skies, a high of 30, a low of 11. And on Sunday, a high of 18 and a low of 1 degree. That's a look at the next 5 days. Here's what's happening right now. 10:09, it's 10 degrees. In downtown Alton, it feels like 12 for time and temperature. 618-465-4545. This time powered by Bounce Back, Rehab, Recover, and Return Home. All right, we'll take a quick break. And we'll come back with Lacy McDonald right here on this Wednesday morning in downtown Alton. Oh, wrong one. That's the White House.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Dibs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Baby, everything is alright. Uptight, out of sight. Baby, everything is alright. Uptight, out of sight. I'm a poor man's son from across the railroad.
Hey, sorry, you couldn't hear us. Thank God. Oh, Lacy, save me. Golden wedding anniversaries.
Yes.
What the hell are those? Are they 50?
50th
Okay,
one, yeah.
so here's the thing. What's 75?
Not a lot of people make it to 75-year anniversaries.
Queen Elizabeth did. What was it?
Well,
what was it? What did they call
diamond?
it? Was it the diamond or what's the platinum?
Well, I don't know. Well, okay, so wedding anniversaries
Are they
don't normally
different?
make it to 75 because you have died beforehand.
But it's the same
But there
terminology.
are- probably. I think didn't she have a diamond jubilee?
I don't know if it was she had a platinum one too.
Did she have a platinum one?
Yeah, so which ones? What is this? I've been trying to figure this out for 3 days. I had the Zion Lutherans having their 75th annual sausage supper, and that's how this all started.
The diamond sausage supper or the platinum sausage supper?
And I don't know, and I go, well, I got to find out, and I still have not found out.
Okay, that I feel like we can.
I'm gonna
get.
find that out. Okay.
Yes.
What
silver is 25.
Okay.
I know that.
All right. So who was getting married?
Well, so
who got married?
Who got married and then was celebrating that marriage. Harry Schweppe and Angie Rand Schweppe were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
Interesting.
Yes. And they were both really, really involved people in Alton. He owned H.M. Schweppe Clothing Company, which was right across the street, actually, from where we are now. It's where the realty office is, the 117 West 3rd. And then she was crucial in Riverview Park existing because she was part of the Alton Women's Home Association when they formed. And the original location was a house up there. And when the Alton Women's Home moved to their...
Got some answers.
Oh, good. Okay. When the Alton Women's Home moved to their later location, she helped that property become a public park instead of being sold to somebody and like losing all those views to just one person. So that's why we have Riverview Park as a public location.
I am ready for this.
Okay, let's go.
Here we go. Ruby is the 40th, so you got silver, ruby, gold for 50, diamond for 60, platinum for 70th.
Oh.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
This is where history and the queen comes back into play. Darn queen. Not the last one, Queen Victoria.
Okay.
So what happened is they had to add another diamond because of the fact that Queen Victoria only had the diamond because it was her 60th, and that was it. So when Queen Elizabeth got to 75, they didn't know what to call it again, so it just became a diamond jubilee.
Okay, so it was diamond,
yeah,
but
so
there
it goes
was another
back and
diamond,
forth. So
like
now
double
there's two.
diamond.
So now if you get to the double diamond, that's how you know you made it.
That's...
So you got diamond, platinum, diamond. You
Okay.
can't tell me there's another ruby we couldn't have called
yeah, like
this,
an
or another
emerald.
stone. Like, something, tungsten.
Peridot, you're right. Right. Like, don't try to make it better. Just try to make it weird or like fun to decorate with.
Yeah. What's the most precious, thing besides gold and diamonds and I guess platinum. God dang, we're running out of elements. No wonder they went to diamond. They said, that there's someone that gets paid like millions of pounds a year that was sitting in the Queen's chamber going, so what do we call this? That was their big decision of the year. That was it. That was the biggest thing they were doing.
I would like to see that brainstorming session when they were
my
like, they
God.
like had all these ideas and they were like, I think we just have to do diamond. Or it was a 5-minute conversation and they were like, she likes diamonds. Let's go with that.
I love it. Okay, this is just great. So, all right. So, but they were a big name though, because that's such a right. I've seen like so many photos of like was it Schweppies or
Schweppy?
Schweppy. So,
Yeah.
like, was it a grocery store? Just so paint the picture for me.
So, okay, he owned a clothing store.
Okay.
And then the Schweppy family, actually, Janet Schweppy worked for the library, and she just died last year, and she was the last Schweppy to live in Alton, in the original house that overlooks the bluffs as well. And so it was really fun when she was still alive, and I know her brother is still alive, but he doesn't live in the area. I would send her little tidbits about her family when I found them, and we really enjoyed that. There was one where they had, it's not in here, but I think it was Angie and Harry, but they were her great-grandparents. So her grandparents and parents lived in the area too. But I think that it was Harry and Angie. They had a night blooming flower that was going to be blooming. And so that was in the Telegraph talking about people coming to visit to see this flower. And so they, very prominent in business. And then also with a lot of stuff that they did for the community. Harry was a member of the Alton Park Commission for more than 25 years. Angie was a dynamic person. She was really, really interesting. We actually portrayed her in Vintage Voices several years ago.
What'd she do?
She was crucial in the Humane Society, like being prominent in Alton. So she and Sophia DeMuth was the first police matron. So
what's a matron? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. She was the first woman police, like she was in charge of, I don't know exactly what she was in charge of.
Would it not be considered a police chief?
I don't.
Is it not
know.
the same role? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just know she was the first police matron, so I think that she was just the first female police officer, like officially.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool.
And so what they kind of did was she took care of the humans, and Angie Schweppy took care of the animals. Like they talked about that.
Gotcha.
Like together they were taking care of the whole community. But yeah, Angie Schweppy and also Sophia DeMuth were so prominent that they ended up being portrayed as wax figurines at the Illinois State Museum. And so these figurines still exist there. Yeah. So in 1929,
that's incredible.
Chicago artist who her name was Mina Schmidt, and she's got a great backstory herself. She was a costume designer. She created 129 figurines of women that had been important in Illinois' history.
Wow.
So locally, we had Angie Schweppy, Sophia DeMuth, and Harriet Newell Haskell, who's from Monticello Seminary, Monticello College history. But they're all part of that collection, and those still exist. And in like the 50s, they had them in Alton in a display at one of the banks. But anyway, she did a lot with women's suffrage and
what was the suffrage movement like here in Alton? Was it pretty pronounced?
Yes. Yeah. Well, Illinois actually gave women the right to vote before they had it nationally.
Right.
So
was it like kind of like a I don't want to say a home base, but kind of like where you knew like you were safe, you had a strong support group there because you know what I'm saying?
There was a very strong support group for
I'm not
women's
making
suffrage.
too much sense today.
No, that's all right. Well, and a lot of it was wrapped up with the women's Christian temperance movement. So the push for prohibition and the push for women's suffrage were wrapped up together.
Was that kind of like Susan B. Anthony's thing too? Because wasn't she against prohibition too?
For prohibition?
No, wasn't she wasn't she for prohibition?
Yeah,
too?
against alcohol. I think
she never marched on it,
so.
but I thought that was kind of one of her, like, she wrote something on it.
Yeah, for all of our prohibition, like a lot of why so many women were for prohibition in that time period, it was because there weren't a lot of the social programs that existed now, where like if you couldn't work, if you were a woman and you basically couldn't have a job outside the home in a lot of places, obviously sometimes they did, but like it was much more limited in what you could do to support your family. And if your husband, who is supposed to be the entire financial support, is making money and then spending it all on alcohol.
Right, which happened
way
too much. It was more than the majority.
Yes, it was a huge, huge issue. And so a lot of women were involved in the temperance movement because that was
like a driving force.
Yeah.
I get you. Okay, see, that's a very fascinating thing. Wow. I'm learning today.
Well, it was kind of like I viewed prohibition in such a different way when I learned that.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, it's not just like people are trying to take away something that
It
people
was a
enjoy.
chain. There was a snow globe effect, really, of what it honestly kind of fascinating because it's what alcohol did to the family and who was, you know what I'm saying, and how it affected them kind of personally, but not personally in the same regard, like the roles.
Well, yeah, and a lot of what Sophia DeMuth was doing was taking care of women and children, especially children that didn't have anyone, and sometimes that was related to the substance abuse of, their parents. So they were kind of in the middle of this. That's Angie Schweppe, I know for sure, was doing suffrage. I don't know what else in terms of prohibition or anything, but she was on a lot of the sort of human and animal welfare kinds of committees and stuff.
Well, and I just think it's so fascinating too because and it's going to be more apparent, I guess, for our generation, like you and like our current living, like working active generation, the people that we grew up knowing, we're going to start to see their legacy taking shape here in a couple of years. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But what I find fascinating too is just talking about it now, like these people were actively working in 1924, 25, right?
Yes.
And what I find fascinating is what are we going to talk about? What's the next Lacy McDonald and going to talk about in 100 years or 50 years after we're long and gone? What's that? What is that? That's kind of what I drive for. What's going to be in the paper? I won't have anything because they won't write a darn thing about me. I could fly tomorrow and they will do everything they could to make sure that no one knew about it. I'm just telling you, not here at RiverBender, the print. I'm just telling you, it happens way too much.
This is like a terrifying thing for me as someone that uses historical items. Like RiverBender is online. And we can only print out so much to like have at the library. And I'm just always terrified of what gets lost.
Nothing. We have I have figured this out because I've asked the question.
Okay, good.
What happens if nothing? We have such a secure database and we're good to go.
Good.
I have been told that if something ever catastrophically happened, it would be less than a day before we're backed up and running to normal.
Well, that's awesome. That makes me feel better.
So don't worry.
So your legacy will live on.
Hey, and just remember, it was printed, but you almost lost him if you guys weren't attentive that day for all those photos. Remember?
I mean, right.
Isn't that crazy to think? I mean, that's the other flip side of it for the print.
Yes.
But you're right on the digital because when it's gone, you don't even know if it's there or not. But with the print stuff, you knew it existed at one point. You just can't find it.
Yeah.
God, this is getting deep.
Well, yeah, this is what I deal with a lot in terms of, the preservation side of my job. Like, we try to keep digital and physical copies of things so that if anything happens, if there's a fire somewhere, or if, things get lost online, that there's always some sort of backup in some sort of way.
Yeah.
But it keeps me up at night also.
Well, it does because there's so many times that you look for history in other towns and there's literally nothing.
Right.
It is like 1955 to 60 onward because that's when people started having at least some form of technology to make notes of. But with us, we got kind of blessed because there was so much data that I think it's amazing. What I think about Lacy is for you guys, how much you found, how much is missing.
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, I get that's what probably keeps you up at night, too, because it's like you find all these really cool things, but it's like, But what else is out there?
Well, and some of it we know. I mean, there were German newspapers that we don't have. There were black newspapers that we don't have.
See, I didn't know anything about any of that.
Yeah, and
Wow.
so history, my coworker Lauren and I were talking about this the other day, history becomes what was saved.
Yeah.
So it's not always just a reflection of what was happening. The historical materials that we have now create our understanding of what was happening. And then the stuff that didn't have any sort of paper or wasn't recorded in a way that we can access it now, it just
And
disappears.
too, for a lot of towns, they only had one journalist. So
Yes.
you were counting on the
Yes.
viewpoint of that specific journalist.
Yes.
And that's a whole nother ball game to look into. It's
Ooh.
like, who is paying off who? And I guess it's true. I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. With that being said, what were we talking about? Oh, wait, hold on. Before we go into your article again. Why do we not know more about Trumbull?
Lyman Trumbull?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I want to talk about him all the time. This guy is amazing. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking with John the other day about it, and I said I would love to do like just on him. I mean, that guy is.
Well, I
just,
can write an article
Can
on
you do
Lyman
it?
Trumbull. Yeah.
Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
I want to know like as
Sure.
much as I can on this guy.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
people drive by his house all the time, and they don't know how important that darn house is, and why that flag's there, and like the 13th Amendment, and how important that. Like it's just so cool.
Well, I can do like instead of 100 years ago, I can make it 150 or whatever we need to do to make
and just
that
put in
happen.
the headline for CJ. That way they know that.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, but like if we deviate a little bit every once in a while,
just once,
then
just for me,
it's
because
okay.
I just have been so fascinated about learning more about him. And
Yeah.
online, there's info, but it's so hard to piece it all together.
Yes.
You know,
All right, I'll write about Lyman Trumbull.
man. Okay, I got you guys a treat coming up. You're welcome. And it ain't even Friday.
Be great on a day, on a week where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to write about. Lyman Trumbull.
You can start off February with it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
There you go. How about that? Or I don't know. I'm not telling you how to do it, Joe.
That's all right.
We're just brainstorming, actually. All right, back to Lacy's actual segment. That's what we came here to talk about today.
Yeah.
So the golden wedding anniversary
Yes.
was being celebrated, and did the town celebrate with them?
Yeah, so there were several newspaper articles about how it was going to be the Schweppes' golden wedding anniversary, and to make sure that you said something to them when you saw them, or to stop by their home on the day.
So how much did they pay the Telegraph for ads back in the day?
That's a good question. There were a lot of Schweppe ads.
Was that because of it? They were saying like, wish him. I'm not being funny, but
No.
just going back to our talk earlier about what the viewpoint is.
Right. Okay. They were prominent enough that a lot of people knew them and would probably have been disappointed that they could have said
Gotcha.
like something nice and didn't realize it. But at the same time, then you kind of like want to be friends with whoever's the editor somewhere, because then
Right.
like you get nice things said about you.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it.
But no, I
it's
mean,
such a fascinating point to make.
Because it's all wrapped up together.
It is. And honestly, you're right, because they're such a prominent, I mean, that name was so prominent.
Yeah.
You can, if you type in, Alton comes up
Yeah.
with it. Seriously.
Yes.
So it's like, it just makes you kind of wonder, though, a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, though. So where did they do like a public anniversary?
It was at their house. And
was
so
the public invited?
They seemed to be. I mean, there was
That's right. No, maybe
literal-
that's why. Maybe that's why because they were doing this public
Yeah.
party, and they wanted folks to the community to celebrate with them.
Right. So I don't think it was a surprise. They didn't like open the newspaper and were like, oh no, now everyone's coming to our party, because it was very planned. So they had flowers everywhere. I think white and yellow were the theme colors. They had a wedding cake with yellow icing, and I think with their names on it. And their children were there, their grandchildren were there. I didn't talk about this in the article, but they had several generations worth of wedding dresses that people were wearing to like show different styles of wedding dresses.
See, now this is I'm getting it now. It wasn't an ad. This was a public event.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it was a public event.
That's what I was getting. Like, why did they
Yes.
say happy anniversary so many times? This was a big deal.
And it was
okay. Now my brain's. I'm getting this now.
There were two major articles I used for this. One of them said a useful honored couple, and that was on January 5th, and that talked about, it was called A Useful Honored Couple, that talked about their contributions to the community and to make sure you wish them a golden wedding anniversary.
Right.
And then the next article was about the event. So I don't think
It
that
didn't promote the
it
event.
didn't promote
Oh, gotcha.
it.
Okay.
it was a reporting of the event, but it was very clear beforehand that this was a sort of public celebration.
Okay.
Instead of just for their family.
Right.
But I want to say they had 3 different generations of wedding dresses that people were wearing. Like somebody was wearing the one that Angie Schweppe had worn when they got married, and then like her daughter was wearing her dress or something like that. But
wow.
I got too confused about who was wearing what and what their relationship was to the couple that I just figured I'd talk about that on here.
Good point.
Yeah.
Fair point. So with that being said, what'd you take away from your experience with this?
So I have always just been fascinated by Angie Schweppe and really admired her. One really interesting thing about her is that she was almost always called Angie Rand Schweppe. Rand
Why?
is her maiden name, because she had so many things she was doing in the community outside of just her husband's work.
Oh, so they knew of her before before the marriage?
Not before the marriage, because I think she was not from here. He was. I don't know how they met, but I do know that she was always, I don't want to say always, because there would be things that said like Mr. and Mrs. H.M. Schweppe went to dinner, da 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 da. But like in a lot of things in that time period, even when a woman was doing something on her own, like when you look at the list of all the women that were the original charter members of the Alton Women's Home Association, and I think she's on that list. I know Sophia, I'm pretty sure either she or Sophia DeMuth is on that list. And they, along with a doctor, I want to say her name was Nina Merritt, they're the only ones that are listed with their first name.
Really?
Versus just Mrs. John Smith. So that alone makes her a much easier person to research than a lot of women in that time period. And it also sort of shows how much she was out in the community as her own self, which I'm not trying to take away from anything from the women that didn't have that. It was just so rare in that time period that it makes it even more impressive that she was known as Angie Rand Schweppe. And one of the things I put in the article is a video that links to a Riverbender video with Debbie Manicky portraying Angie Schweppe in 2023. So you can kind of see it from her own perspective right next to her grave at the Alton Cemetery. But yeah, she was fascinating.
That is really cool. We'll play that in a second to end the segment on. But what I find really interesting too is just the ending of this, because they celebrated 1924 their golden
1925 early 1925.
So she had passed 4 years later.
Yes.
And he really just it kind of, from what you wrote, changed him.
Yes.
It was definitely he knew it was time for him to start taking a leave of absence.
I would say too, part of what I like about them separately and as a couple, like he clearly really supported her and the things that she was doing. And so part of the reason you see her as Angie Rand Schweppe is because he didn't have a complex of like
an ego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's how you can see that among married couples in that time period, when the man is able to have his wife be separate from him in that way. And then, they'd been married for years and truly considered each other partners. They'd been married for 55 years when she died, 54 years. That is something to admire as well.
It really is. Yeah, it really is kind of a really good piece. We talked about a lot of things for a wedding anniversary. What are you writing about next week?
I am writing about W.T. Norton, who is the author of The Centennial History of Madison County, which is like one of the major books about this time period, or about Alton, Godfrey, et cetera, in this time period. And he died in 1925. So we're doing a marriage and then we're doing death. But
good.
I've
covered both.
Do it all.
Yeah.
So he died 100 years ago, and we're going to talk about his contributions before he died.
Really cool.
Thanks.
All right. Well, before I send you off to a commercial break, learn more about
Angie.
Learn more about Angie.
Maybe that was her nickname.
Learn more about Angie Schweppe, correct?
Yes.
And who portrayed Angie again?
Debbie Manicky.
And we'll take you there now.
Oh, good afternoon. Oh, Sassy, come here. Come to Mama. Oh, she is such a feisty puppy. There. Oh. If she gets in your way, just shoo her out of the way. Oh, she's so independent. Although she does stay rather close during our midnight strolls through the cemetery. I'm Angie, and I do love animals. I love all creatures, really. My dear friend Sophia DeMuth and I founded the Alton chapter of the National Humane Society, and we represented them on the state and the national levels. Sophie and I both died in 1929, just 11 days apart. We do so hope that our passion for those helpless creatures has been carried on. It has been said about me that I could not bear to hear of any violence toward any creature and not do something about it. It has also been said about me that there never was any question on which side of an issue I stood. There was that business with this certain high school biology teacher who was breaking the law with his feline dissection practices. Well, when I got word about that, I got the entire school board and the state's attorney involved, and let's just say that high school biology teacher stopped those dissection practices, and he suffered a fine of 5% of his salary, and for good measure, I mimeographed copies of that law and spread them out throughout the entire school district. So there would never again be any more of that nasty business. Though I was born in Maine, I settled in Alton, and my husband Harry and I owned a dry good and grocer over on 2nd Street. We lived up on Prospect in that beautiful house known as the Piasaw Bird Lodge. It sits out looking over the Mississippi River, right above where they painted the Piasaw bird on the bluffs. It was designed by the famous architect Lucas Pfeifenberger, who happens to now be my neighbor just a few plots down. He also designed the Beale Mansion and the supposedly haunted McPike Mansion, as well as St. Mary's Catholic Church over on Henry Street. Well, one day, I got word that the old ladies' home, what a god-awful name, had a piece of property that they no longer needed near my house. So, I decided that the city of Alton needed to buy that property and build a park looking out over the Mississippi for all to enjoy. So, I thwarted every possible sale of that property and may have held it in my own name for a time until the city of Alton could come around to my way of thinking. Well, they did come around to my way of thinking, and they built what is now known as Riverview Park, with that gorgeous white gazebo where you might hear the Muni Band on a Thursday night, or witness a gorgeous wedding, or perhaps take a romantic stroll down one of the pathways. It is perhaps my greatest triumph. It is my legacy. Harry says that I can be stubborn. Well, so be it. My greatest, hardest, most passionate battle was that for women's suffrage. I joined every committee, every organization, and may have practiced just a little civil disobedience in my pursuit for every woman in our nation to get the right to vote. The fight began on the national level in 1848 in Seneca Falls, New York, and it did not end until 1920 with the passage of the 19th Amendment. Can you believe that? It took nearly my entire lifetime. So ladies, please, please never forget how hard we fought and how much we gave up. And do not ever squander that right. And by all means, never let anyone try and take it away from you. I left this earth at the age of 75, and the Alton Telegraph published my obituary, and it began, "Another useful citizen has closed her career." Useful? I joined every committee. I chaired up every committee. I founded so many foundations, including the Alton Women's Home Association, and all of the philanthropy that I bestowed upon the city. I fought with every fiber of my being to bring about purposeful change in the city of Alton. I fought against slavery. I fought against racism. I fought against economic oppression and sexual violence. You know, Harry may have brought home the bacon, but I made sure that everyone, no matter what their station in this life, at least got a taste of it. Come along, Sassy. I feel a change in the wind.
Get access to care for anyone, anywhere, at any time. No appointments, no waiting rooms, no traveling. OSF on call.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Sharing horizons that are new to us, watching the signs along the way, talking it over, just the two of us, working together day to day.
Ow, get over here. Welcome back. All right, hey, wanted to bring you some news. Now I can hear myself. Wanted to bring you some news briefs just while I have you for these last 13 minutes. And hey, wanted to fill you in. Alton Redbirds basketball on both sides of the aisle, both girl and boy basketball programs are just having the season to remember. Hey, Alton Redbirds, though, they did, for the first time in a month, play a game at home. For the first time in over a month, the Alton Redbirds played a home game, and they hosted Collinsville in another huge Southwestern Conference matchup. Collinsville came into the game having won just one of its last 6 games, but it shocked the Redbirds with a come-from-behind 56-51 overtime win. The K-Hawks trailed 32 to 20 at halftime, but used a 16-0 run that spanned the end of the third quarter and into the fourth to erase the deficit. It was Alton's first conference loss, falling to 5-1 in the Southwestern Conference and 15-3 on the season. Collinsville improved to 9-9 on the season and 2-3 in conference play. Obviously, it's disappointing, head coach Dylan Dudley had to say, but it's just disappointing in the fact that you had the chance to knock them out. You've got to be mature enough, strong enough, and tough enough to knock out a team when you have the chance. We didn't do it. In the end, we couldn't make enough plays in overtime to get over that hump to win the game. Tuesday's game went into overtime tied up 46 apiece. Collinsville outscored Alton 10-5 in OT. Kobe Taylor opened the game with a three-pointer, but was quickly answered by a basket and one from Solomon Talbot. Hassani Elliott put the Redbirds ahead, but Collinsville's Jace Wilkinson nailed a triple to take a 6-5 lead. From there, Alton closed an 8-point run to go ahead 13-6 after the first quarter. Back-to-back three-pointers from Samaj Stampley boosted the lead to 19-6 to open the second. Alton later led by 12 at half. The Redbirds maintained the 12-point lead up until 38-26, but a three from Evan Wilkinson and baskets from Donovan Coates and Chase Reynolds saw the K-Hawks close the third quarter on a 7-point run. Alton still led 38-33. Stanley Carahan scored 2 straight baskets in the post before Coates put down three free throws to give Collinsville a lead. It forced Alton into a full timeout with 5:25 left in the game, and that's when it just continued from there. The Redbirds were outscored 26-14 in the second half. And for Alton, Stampley ended up with 23 points, while Taylor and Elliott each had 9. Collinsville continues Southwestern Conference play on Friday when it hosts Belleville East. Alton travels to Edwardsville on Friday. And despite that frustrating loss, the Redbirds aren't going to change anything. We're not going to panic. We're not going to change our routine, Dudley said. They're going to bounce back. And I just myself firmly believe that those teams are on fire this year, and it's been fun to follow along. Also in the news today, man, I am all tangled up in wires today, and I got a shirt on that's too small, and that's coming from me, so it's probably meant for like a toddler. So I'm like, man, I am constricted today. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers River Project is again partnering with the city of Clarksville to bring additional experiences to their annual Clarksville Eagle Days Festival. Throughout the 2-day event, park rangers will offer free lock tours at Lock and Dam 24, which is not typically open for public touring. The Corps of Engineers at Lock and Dam 24 is excited to welcome the public to enjoy a unique experience touring the Lock and Dam. You will get to see the lock chamber up close at the height of Eagle season. Not only can you learn about towboats and navigation, but you can also see hundreds of bald eagles around the open water of the dam. Those wishing to join a tour can sign up for a free session at the Lock and Dam. Additionally, Clarksville Eagle Days will feature live eagle shows and vendors at the Apple Shed, which is located at 702 2nd Street. And eagle watching will be available at the Clarksville Riverfront Park. Attendees should be advised of construction that is along North 1st Street, which limits access to the parking lots at the Lock and Dam. For easy access, utilize public parking lots at the Clarksville Riverfront Park and boating ramp. Follow the walking path to the welcome tent at the Lock and Dam. In addition to the two-day event, River Project Park Rangers are hosting an additional day of activities at the Clarksville Riverfront Park for regional schools on Friday, January the 24th. This day is not open to the public, but will provide the Lock and Dam touring to 8 schools and nearly 300 students. The school day experience includes Lock and Dam tours, eagle watching along the river, campfire s'mores, and live bird shows by the World Bird Sanctuary. For an additional information, you can contact a park ranger at 618-462-6979 or go to mtrf.org. That's mtrf.org. All right, while I have you, so I got a story for you. And I'm going to come back with it after a quick break because it's a good one. You know, I'm going to give you a secret. There's people in our lives that cough nonstop. Some people call it a smoker's cough. Do not look at me. And some people just call it a cough. There's some folks that will have issues with, right when the weather gets colder about, for months, not being able to just breathe normally. You're coughing up a lung. What are you doing wrong? Are you sick? We got some answers courtesy of OSF Healthcare, and I'll bring them to you right after this break. But let me tell you about Village Dispensary first. Village Dispensary, that's the place to go during any type of really any type of day, whether or not it's snowing outside in a snowstorm, whether or not it's -1 degree outside and you ain't leaving your house, or it's 75 and you're hitting the golf course for 18 holes. What better experience than to go to Village Dispensary, grab an edible, and call it a good old day? At Village Dispensary, every day is a special day, whether or not it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday and Sunday, when you can just go in and get their daily deals. And what I mean by that is you can go in today and get a pre-roll for less than $10. For $5 a piece, they have items just that low, and they're great products. They're safe for you to use, and that's why we stress the importance of Village Dispensary. Locally owned, union built, all about quality. Village Dispensary knows where it's at. VillageDispo.com to place your order today and go in and see the inventory that'll make Cheech and Chong jealous. We'll take a quick break. More Daily Show next.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. I had to cough to lead into this. Can't stop coughing. It's a... If you can't laugh by yourself, then how can you laugh at all, you know? All right, it's you, me, and the 4 walls that surround me. And if you can't stop coughing, well, it's a common question happening with all of the other upper respiratory illnesses going around, including colds, flu, and RSV. Maybe 2 weeks ago you had a virus. You treated the symptoms with antibiotics. You're feeling better. But that cough is still lingering, says Juan Bosco Ayala, the pulmonologist in the intensive care unit at OSF, Little Company of Mary Medical in Evergreen. He provides medical care to patients on a daily basis, especially people who have breathing disorders and lung disease, and explains potential reasons why coughs linger. A lot of times it's due to it's due to local inflammation that persists. There's not much to do for it. We're typically recommend antihistamines, and sometimes you'll have to cycle those. It's usually something that subsides with time, but if it doesn't, then obviously you need to go get looked at. That can include Claritin D, Benadryl, Allegra, and more. They can be found over the counter and do not require a prescription. For many, colder temperatures bring an uptick in mucus in your throat. For this, Dr. Ayala says another over-the-counter option, Mucinex, may be a good choice. He also recommends keeping an eye on your symptoms as more people are getting colds and viruses this time of year. It is important to not let local hospitals get overrun if you can treat your symptoms at home. So, should you go to the doctor? COVID-19, RSV, strep, and flu are very contagious, but usually can be treated at home. If you have symptoms such as a cough or sore throat, but they're mild and you don't have a high-risk health condition, you can take a COVID-19 test at home and treat your symptoms with over-the-counter medication. Don't overrun the ER. Have symptoms that haven't gotten better in 10 days, have difficulty breathing, or have that pre-existing condition like diabetes, asthma, or COPD, it's time to go to the doctor. If you have white spots on the back of your throat, that's a clear sign of infection and will need medical intervention prescribed by a licensed medical provider. So just be mindful of that as I'm saying goodbye to you today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow. We have another great show, and we'll talk then. On this 15th day of January, it's warming up out there, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for more of our daily show. Thank you for tuning in. And until we talk again, try your best to stay out of jail.